Hello, everyone. This is Teresa Chambers, and welcome to Business of Style. I'm so excited today to have with me a very, very talented, true fashionista and really good friend as well on our show. And his name is Tyrone Farley. Tyrone, are you there?
Hi, I'm here. Hi, Teresa. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on the show. Welcome. Well, the reason that I have you on the show is that we are in a swirl of Fashion Week. We've had New York Fashion Week and London Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week, and now Milan is coming up. But there are some really cool things happening with you in New York, even beyond New York Fashion Week. And I wanted to find out what you're up to and to tell our audience about you, introduce them to you and who you are, what you do, and what's going on next in New York. So why don't we start out by talking a little bit about who Tyrone Farley is. Tell us about yourself.
So sure. So I got started in fashion as a blogger. I'm based in Harlem, New York City. And I got started just taking photos in the streets of Harlem because I love fashion and just documenting what I see on the streets and loving style, only because specifically in Harlem, that's where the hub of African-American history specifically is. And it's so different from downtown, Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, where it's much more Caucasian and much more luxury fashion. So started that, started a blog, True Fashionista now, because I believe fashion is unique for everyone. You don't have to be wearing Prada, Chanel, head to toe. You can wear a scarf that's stylish, tilted to any direction you want, or the way you wear a T-shirt that's non-branded or jeans, and you can just make it your own. So That's how I came up with the name True Fashionista now. From there, I started getting invited to all kinds of smaller events, and then from there, bigger events, Fashion Week, of course, New York Fashion Week, a lot of the shows, and started going to those. Then, before you knew it, I was invited to HuffPost, where I became a regular contributor, and even more opportunities opened up, such as Pix 11 News, and most recently, China Global Fashion Network, talking about Fashion Week, of course. And most recently, very proud to be working on a project called the Master Pioneer Awards. Master Pioneer Awards is an organization that celebrates African American with natural hair, and they recognize and honor those in the industry, whether you're a beautician, whether you're a salon owner, an entrepreneur. They raise funds to honor these individuals, and each year they have honorees. This year, I am lucky to be one of those honorees, where I'm being recognized for fashion and style. And in addition to that, I'm producing and directing a show where we're going to be featuring designers. This year, it'll be men's wear. In the past, it's been women's wear. And I'm so excited to be part of this. It happens September 30th in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Music School from 6 p.m.
Wow. You said a mouthful. You covered a lot of territory there. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to backtrack a little bit with you. And I'm going to go back to just a little bit about how you got started, because I know that you were talking about how you were on the streets of Harlem and you were looking at black fashion in particular, fashion that's being represented by African-American community there. So what did that entail for you? I know you mentioned photography. So tell me, what did you do? Did you take pictures with your iPhone, or are you actually, using a camera? How did you capture those images and those styles?
So I captured those images using a professional camera, and I would stop people in the streets, ask them to take a photo, because, fashion is personal. Photography is very personal as well, and not everyone likes it. So I would be sure to stop them and make sure they're aware that, it's something I'll post online. So I will do that, and usually it'll be on the weekends. It's culturally, people like getting dressed up on the weekends. So Saturdays and Sundays is when.
So when people are not wearing aren't wearing their work clothes, they really are showing off their personal style.
Exactly.
Okay. So you just took photos of them doing what they do.
Exactly. Just going about whether most of the time they're going shopping or they're probably going for dinner or casually just meandering down the street. But usually I'm very fascinated with people on 125th Street, specifically African Americans. And the reason for that is I really feel that Caucasians, they get a lot of recognition already in magazines, and African Americans do not get a lot of credit for their fashion and their style and their contribution to fashion. And that's something I've been fascinated with, because what's going on in fashion now is nothing compared to what typically has been classic fashion years ago, whether it's a suit and ties. Almost everyone from New York to Milan to London and Paris, for menswear and women's wear, everything is athleisure wear and very urban inspired. So I am not surprised that that's the direction it's gone. But people are fascinated with urban style, and that all started from the African American community.
Yeah. And one of the things to note is that it isn't the traditional approach of looking at the fashion designers per se, but there are other people in the community who are really influencing fashion. Have you observed that?
Of course. I mean, I'm fascinated mostly with African Americans and what they are contributing to fashion, because, like I said, they contribute to fashion with their style, whether it's urban style or whether it's a designer. There are many well-known African-American designers such as Pyra Moss or Laquan Smith. Laquan was just, he's been designing clothes for a while, but Kim Kardashian probably just rocketed him to more fame. She just wore one of his latex dress during New York Fashion Week. But prior to that, many celebrities have worn his designs. And Pyra Moss is also an African-American designer that presented collections during New York Fashion Week. And last season, his show was styled by Erykah Badu. And the reason I'm saying this is because one of the issues that I know has been part of the fashion industry is African Americans in the modern industry fighting for diversity on the runway. It's funny that I'm talking about this because one of the first topic I spoke about when I was asked to appear on HuffPost Live was to talk about fashion and feminism on the runway and diversity as well. And it's something that still continues to happen, and it's something that models have continuously been fighting for. Now we're seeing a lot of change, and we're seeing a lot of change not only with the representation of diversity, but also even with hair, which is not surprising. There's a lot of movement with the hair as well, and we'll talk about a little bit more of that in a while.
Okay.
But you asked me in regards to African Americans. I say this because, their white counterparts, they do design clothes, and one of the challenges that African Americans are facing is they're just as good as their white counterparts, but they do not get the credibility from a price point standpoint, and their clothes is just as good. So, these are just some of the challenges that are taking place in fashion. And with what's going on in politics right now, it's much more magnified because, as we are aware, there's been a lot of hot issues and hot topics about racism in America, which is just becoming more of a hot topic day by day.
Yeah. But we still want those images, and we still look at the African American culture as one that influences style, like you said, hair, clothing, even, the physical attributes of people has changed based on the influence of the African American culture as well. So now, looking at what you've done in terms of your progression from going from taking photos on the streets to being on the Huffington Post Live and the different media outlets, what did you think? What's your point of view? What do you think it is that you have to say on all of these platforms that distinguishes you and makes you a true fashionista and an expert on fashion right now?
So for me, it continues to evolve, quite honestly. I mean, initially when I started off doing this, it was a hobby, and it still is for the most part, in essence, for me, fun. I mean, like anything else, I really believe when you love something, the heart of it should be having fun. So let's just lay the foundation there. For me, fashion is fun. I enjoy it. I love it. It's my heart and core soul of doing what I do. So when it continues to be that, right? So for many people, when they carve out for themselves a platform or they build their credibility in whatever that industry is, I really believe, and this is my belief and my opinion, I really believe it should be something that they utilize for the good of mankind. And for me, I believe I've built a credibility in the fashion industry, and it's something that I love, and I'm getting recognized for it. And my way of giving back, I believe, is to lend my voice to the African American community in talking more about their inclusion and diversity as well. It's very important for me to give back in that sense, and I think fashion is definitely a platform and an industry that this discussion is needed.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And so with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about what the Master Pioneer Awards is and what your involvement in Master Pioneer Awards is this year.
So Master Pioneers is an organization that recognizes and promotes natural hair care in the African American community. As you may be aware of a lot of activities and festivals going on, such as Curl Fest or Afropunk, that celebrates African American culture and hair. Master Pioneers is an organization that honors some of the participants that make that happen, whether you're a beautician, a salon owner, or an entrepreneur creating a product that we use for hair or for hair care. And so they raise funds and they recognize personalities as a master pioneer. They've been doing this for about 6 years, and I am one of the honorees this year for my contribution to fashion and style.
Congratulations. But not only are you an honoree, but you are also producing a fashion show, the fashion show for the Master Pioneer Award.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Yes, I am. So I'm producing the Master Pioneers fashion show. So part of the evening's production involves a segment where there will be a fashion show. And I'm producing and directing that. I am utilizing my resources and my network to bring recognition, like I said, to African American designers. Of course, the designers that are part of the show are African Americans, And the models are all going to be sporting genres of natural hair, whether it's twists, afros, cornrows, or flat top. And I'm very proud to be a part of this project. I am very conscious of what's going on, and I love that I have a platform which is fashion to bring to life and to talk about some of the issues through fashion of what's going on in fashion as it relates to politics, racism, and Black Lives Matter.
So, Tyrone, you left out a very important fact about this fashion show. It's a men's fashion show, right? It's all men's wear, male designers. Is that right, or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, it is. Yes, I neglected to say it is a men's wear fashion show. In the past, it's been for Master Pioneers. They have had women's wear as part of the fashion segment. This year, it'll be men's fashion show. So it's going to be all men's wear.
That is fantastic. And who are some of the designers that will be featured?
So some of the designers are Next Level World, Hood Dandy, and Yemi Kosiba. Yemi Kosiba is a bridal and evening wear couture designer that he's originally from the UK, but he resides here, and he has his boutique here in New York City. Okay. Hood Dandy also is a fresh designer from Parsons, a graduate of Parsons who I met at her graduation. And her collection is amazing, inspired by the 70s, which I love, and the colors of plaids and color tones of the 70s and the Jackson 5. And her technique and her style is just amazing, and you will love if you get a chance to come to the Master Pioneers show. Next Level World also, they're really amazing. They've already shown at Harlem Fashion Week, and their collection, their latest collection is inspired by Egypt, which is part of the storytelling for me and part of my vision that I will be producing for the show as part of the evenings, or hair or heritage. I play the word here. Part of the evolution of hair includes Egypt. And, there's lots of controversy around this with Cleopatra and the prince and the kings and the pharaohs wearing natural hair and cornrows and dreadlocks. So this is going to be incorporated in the show. So if you're there, if you're not there, you'll be missing out on a big treat, and that's what's going to be part of the show.
Wow, that sounds like that is going to be an amazing show.
Isn't it?
So why don't you give us some details about where it's going to take place, when it's going to take place? Tell us again when the Master Pioneer Awards fashion show, men's fashion show, is going to take place. Sure.
So the Master Pioneers menswear fashion show will take place Saturday, September 30th. It's going to be at the Brooklyn Music School. Showtime is 6 p.m. You can get a lot of the information from many of our social platforms. We're on Twitter at MP Awards 17, as well as Instagram MP Awards 17, and Facebook MP Awards 17. Our hashtag is MP Awards 17, and there's lots of information available where you can get your tickets. As of this podcast, tickets were still available, but I suspect they'll be sold out by the end of this weekend.
Wow, that sounds exciting. So that's going to come to a quick close. Is there anything that you have planned for after the Master Pioneer Awards? What's next on your agenda, Tyrone?
I have projects that I'm working on, and
can't tell us yet, huh?
I can't tell you about it, but that's for 2018. But I definitely need a lot of rest. A lot of rest after this project is over. It is hard work. And like for anyone wanting to be a part of any industry, of course, it is hard work. I've worked very hard to make this project become the success that it is, and I know a lot of people will be talking about it.
Wonderful. So tell us some of the challenges that you had in this process, not to complain, but just kind of to present the idea of the challenges of producing a fashion show, especially in New York City, where everything is just like so big and there's always something going on. Tell us about that experience.
Well, first of all, fashion is a business, and I think people should know that fashion is you're selling the illusion of perfection. You know, the idea, first of all, the word model means exactly what it is, a model. And I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding skinny models versus thick models. But I think a lot of people get carried away by that term, and it's just a model, right? You aspire to be that. And I think a lot of times people take it literally as that's how we should dress, that's how we should look, but it's really just fashion idealism that we sell, and that's one of the first challenge for me that I am very realistic of during producing this show, creating the idea that fashion, having that balance that fashion is, we're selling this idea of perfection visually, but striking the balance that it is also a story and a vision that involves African American history and the evolution of hair.
Wow.
So striking all those balances visually, whether it's the background scenery, whether it's casting the models specifically for hair, whether it's coming up with the music, with the lyrics that strikes a balance, that curates the story to exactly what my vision is, and communicating those ideas with the different team members, whether it's a makeup artist or whether it's a hairstylist or whether it's the designer, and convincing designers to be a part of this storytelling and this vision. Those are some of the challenges.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. It sounds like it's going to be a great show. Oh, and now I also had reached out to some folks to let them know that you were going to be on the podcast, and there was a question from someone that I reached out to. Kathy in Chicago wanted to get some feedback from you on what you think that one essential wardrobe piece that every person, every woman must have. And I think you could also maybe speak to what wardrobe piece every man must have that makes their wardrobe complete.
I think every woman, and it sounds cliche, but it's very true, the little black dress. But it doesn't have to be a little dress, a black dress, period. You know me, and you know I love black and white. And I love the color black because I think it's classic and it's timeless. And that's what I tell everyone.
And it's very flattering to everybody, right?
And it's exactly. Black is very flattering. And here's a tip that you didn't ask for, and I tell this to everyone as well. Black conceals and white reveals. And I'll say it again. Black conceals, white reveals. It's very flattering, and black goes well with many other pieces. You could throw on a blazer. You could throw on a sweater. You could dress it up with a scarf. You could dress it up with any type of jewelry to make it whatever mood you're going for. And that's my tip for a gal. For a guy, I would say similarly a jacket, a black jacket. That goes well with a lot of colors. Not everyone likes dressing up with a shirt and a bow and a tie. But I would say a black jacket goes well with any color jeans and any color tee. And if you want to take it an extra notch, a pocket square, you dress it up. It's like an accessory for a woman. You dress it up with any color and to get you into the mood that you're going for at that time.
Okay, that's great advice. I think I look forward to seeing all the folks who take your advice and just make those little adjustments in their wardrobe so that they can look great no matter what. So you've told us some advice about some things that you think are important for style, but who has been your greatest style influence? Who's been your style icon over the years?
Oh, my God. My style icon, very easy. Yves Saint Laurent. I love Yves Saint Laurent. Ever since I was a little boy, he was the first person that I fell in love with when I opened a Vogue magazine and I saw an ad on everything about what he was doing at the time. I fell in love with fashion. First of all, I didn't know who she was at the time, but the model that he used was Iman. And I thank God that she is still alive, and I had a chance to meet her and see her walk in person, and she's everything that he ravished about. I think when he worked with her and when she was a muse for many of his collections. And since then, I mean, when I fell in love with him, I continued to learn a lot more about him. And he's part of the reason also that I love African-American culture with fashion, a combination, because he also loved African culture. This is something that I learned along the way. When he was designing clothes, he had a home in Marrakesh, and he would often go there to be inspired for new collections that he worked on. As you may know, or fashion lovers who love him also may know, he loves color. And colors are a part of African-American, whether it's a kente cloth or all the colorful fabrics that we love about African prints. That's where he got it from. He loves the African culture, the heritage, and the scenes that he probably visited in Africa. And for some of those reasons, I love him as well.
Yes, I understand. Yves Saint Laurent is timelessly classic, and his stuff is just amazing. He evolves, his style, his vision evolves over time, as he has. Yeah. So we're going to wrap up really soon. So I just wanted to know if there's anything else, one more thing that you want to share with our audience about yourself and what you're up to, and then we also would love to find out how we can get in touch with you and follow all of your cool activities online and wherever you are in the world.
Sure. So what I would leave with you is the tip that I always tell anyone, and also it's a combination. This tip is a quote from someone I also love. I love black and white, old Hollywood, and 1920s, 1930s, Joan Crawford and Greta Garbo and Betty Davis and the fashions of Adrienne and Edith Head. And one of the quotes that she uses, and she's used in the past, is, "You can have anything you want in life if you dress for it." It's really true. I mean, I really love this quote because I really think fashion is something that's very powerful and can be utilized for power. I had a chance to interview a designer for Broadway production for Billie Holiday about 2 years ago, and part of the inspiration and the background notes that they sent to me was, and I found out for myself, that Billie Holiday talks about and utilized during her era as a singer is fashion. So this really makes sense. Fashion is something that she utilized. We see her as an icon with the furs and the diamonds and the gowns. But think about it. She's and she is an African-American woman who had to compete with white counterparts. So she really had to stand out, and she really had to find a way to make this happen. Fashion is what you use. And so I really believe in this quote, and it's really applicable to today as well. I think you can have anything in life if you dress for it. And that's by Edith Head, and also one of my favorite person in Hollywood. She's won numerous Oscars just for fashion design, and she's designed some of the best costumes and outfits for movies that we see that we probably not even aware of she's done. So I love her. So that's the tip I would leave. You can have anything you want in life if you dress for it. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm at TF Now. And you can also find out about my latest blog post on True Fashionista Now. That's where I always talk about the latest collections from New York, London, Milan, and Paris, and many other countries that showcase Fashion Week. People think that fashion is only, we talk about Fashion Week, it's only limited to New York, London, Paris, and Milan. But there's a Fashion Week going on all over the world. It's China, Africa, India, the Caribbean. And when True Fashionista Now evolved, that was something that I did as well. I wanted to showcase other designers who were doing great things during their version of Fashion Week, and not just the mainstream fashion weeks that we know of, which is New York, London, Paris, and Milan. So that's it. Find me on truefashionistanow.com and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at TF Now.
Tyrone Farley, TF Now. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to have a chat with us at Business of Style. We wish you all the best at the Master Pioneer Awards. Congratulations on your recognition as an honoree this year. And we really, really, really look forward to hearing about and seeing the show. And everybody who might be in New York on September the 30th, do not miss your chance to check out this award show that's being produced by Tyrone Farley. And if you have any comments or feedback, please don't hesitate to drop us a line. Business of Style, we're on the Style Chambers page, or you can write Tyrone directly. But definitely give them a shout out. Give us a shout and let us know what you think, if you have any more questions or comments that you'd like to share with Tyrone. And join us the next time on Business of Style to hear more about the business of creative entrepreneurship. Thank you all so much for listening.